What's up guys, I hope you're all well. Welcome back to yet another video on the channel, and today I have a very exciting one for you guys. As a lot of you probably already know, Chessington recently announced their brand new Minecraft themed area that they are going to be opening in the park next year in 2027. This is a project I'm insanely excited about, so I thought what better idea, because all my ideas are absolutely fantastic as the past has proven, than to do kind of a general overview video for you guys. So in today's video, or at least in the first half of the video, I'm actually going to talk to you guys about you know, what rides we're going to see in this area, what we know, what we don't know, and how the area is hopefully going to look when it opens next year. Then in the second half of the video, here comes the exciting part, I'm going to head down to Chessington itself, and we're going to check out some of the construction that has ramped up over the last couple of weeks, and take everything I talked about in the first half and kind of apply it to something a little bit more tangible and see how it's actually shaping up to look within the park itself. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do go on to enjoy it, make sure to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, without further ado, I'm not going to waste any more time, so let's get straight into the video. Okay then, so starting logically with the first thing you're going to see as you enter the area, we of course have a wonderful looking entrance portal. Now I am going to say something before we really get deep into this video. A lot of the stuff I'm going to show on screen when I'm talking about things in the first half of this video, and potentially a little bit in the second half, are going to be concept art that was officially released by Chessington themselves. Of course, I do want to kind of just preface this a little bit with the fact that this is concept art. This is subject to change. It might not look exactly like it does within the concept art. Obviously this is the only thing we've really got to go off of at the moment, but yeah, do keep in mind it might not look one-to-one to these. You know, it could look better, it could look worse, we really don't know, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way before we got too deep into the video itself. So yes, starting logically, what we see first, where was I? The entrance portal is looking really cool in the concept art that they have shown and released to the public. Of course, this looks very Minecraft. There's not really much to say about it, but I'm glad that there is going to be some form of entrance portal into this area, as of course it is literally straight away on the left as you enter into the park itself. The entrance portal looks a little bit better than I think the Jumanji one looks. Not that I think that's a bad entrance portal, but this one screams a lot more, you know, quality going forward, which is something that hopefully you're going to see a lot more within this video, as it is reported that Merlin are spending 50 million on this area alone, which is a hefty amount of money, definitely more than I've got in my wallet at the moment. So yeah, hopefully we're going to see a lot of that quality carry on into the rest of the area as well. And yeah, as soon as you walk through this kind of massive entrance portal and facade, straight away on your left you are going to have a massive show building, which is going to house the area's flagship attraction, which is a indoor roller coaster. Now there's a few reasons this is really exciting to me. First reason is that this is going to be an Intamin multi-dimension coaster. This is a really unique kind of coaster. Essentially it kind of functions as a normal ride, you know, throughout. You kind of sit in a normal cart. However, this cart then can twist 360 degrees in a programmable manner, you know, so it isn't free moving. It instead utilizes that kind of movement for specific set pieces within the ride. For example, there's a part within the Uncharted ride where you go over an airtime hill sideways. You know, the kind of whole cart moves on its side and then it kind of goes over the track. You know, there's a lot of interesting things you can do with a multi-dimensional coaster. You can go backwards, you know, it's sideways, front facing, you know, there's so much you can do, and that's what really gets me excited about this, because of course this is Minecraft. There's no way this is not being themed to a minecart, and I think it's the perfect ride system to kind of fully take advantage of that theme, which I think is really exciting. Now this is obviously, like I said, going to be a primarily indoor coaster. There is a little bit of an outdoor section, but I'll get onto that in just a second. I think this is a huge win, not only because, you know, it's going to be a really big investment for Merlin and it would be nice to see a proper show building with some really nice theming on the outside, but I do just think for rides like this, and especially for a ride that's themed to Minecraft, I think indoors is a perfect way to go. Of course, being indoors, it allows you to have full control over things like lighting, scene composition, and just kind of generally how the ride, you know, is seen whilst you're in it. Of course, when you're outdoors, there's a lot of other varying factors: weather, lighting being a big one. You know, there's certain things that you can't really manufacture to look a very specific way every single time someone gets on that ride. So with it being indoors, you know, I think that's a perfect way to kind of negate that. And of course, with it being Minecraft, hopefully we're going to get some really cool set pieces in here. Even in the concept art is shown here, we can see a ghast, which are predominantly featured within the Nether, which is something that obviously kind of confirms that we're going to be going into the other realms other than the overworld within this attraction, potentially the end as well, we don't know. But yeah, that itself shows that there's going to be some fairly large set pieces that are going to take advantage of that indoor nature. Now this outdoor section is very, very quick. It is literally just a slight corner. It does seem to wrap around a major theming piece, which we actually can see within some of this concept art. I believe that is what this kind of floating island is going to be. Of course, this reminds me a lot of Pandora over at Animal Kingdom. I don't think it's going to be as large or nearly as detailed as Pandora over at Animal Kingdom, but it definitely looks like a very set piece worthy element. And yeah, I can imagine some water features and some interactable elements that are going to be featured within this. I think that's going to look really cool. Before we kind of get onto the other attractions we're going to see, it is worth noting that it does look like within the plans there is a retail shop attached to this show building, pretty much straight away on your left as you come into the area itself. Obviously you walk a little bit further to get to the main entrance of the coaster, but it does look like this is going to be the exit of the ride. So you're going to kind of get on, walk through the themed queue line, get off, and then kind of walk out through the retail shop. This is something we see in a lot of rides, not only in the UK but just across the world in general. So I can kind of see that being an exit shop for the ride, whilst also functioning as the general store for the area. Another thing that's attached to the show building is to the right hand side of the show building, and that is the themed restaurant, or at least the themed eatery. I don't know why I'm coining that term, but I'm calling it an eatery because we don't really know if it's going to be a proper restaurant. It could be something more akin to the burger kitchens that we see across the Merlin parks, or it could be a really kind of small kind of grab and dine sort of place. The next kind of exciting bit, and this is something that just excites me personally, is of course we have the return of Cobra. This is one of my favourite flat rides that we had at Chessington specifically, but of course the Zamperla Disco model survives. I'm really excited to see it return. It is going to get a brand new retheme, of course, back into something that's going to be themed to Minecraft. It's not just going to come back as Cobra, obviously. It had recently, I think, been taken away for this retheme, so they're obviously going to repaint some of the elements and some of the actual kind of ride structure itself. Maybe add some more theming pieces. I'd imagine they're going to spice up the queue line, maybe certain things like that, and it is actually going to shift forwards a little bit, or backwards depending on which kind of way you're standing, a little bit further down into the area. So it is relocating slightly, but it is going to be the same old Cobra, which I'm really looking forward to. Then opposite Cobra we have some interesting stuff. So opposite it directly, just to the right of the restaurant itself, we are going to actually see a small play zone, which is something that Chessington loves to do, and I think it's just generally a great thing to add to an area. Obviously this is Minecraft, so it is going to be insanely popular, so having that kind of play zone there kind of may take a little bit of capacity away from some of the other attractions, and of course keep a little bit more variety there for the kids who may not be tall enough to ride the coaster, even though I think it is going to be a fairly short height limit. Again, it just opens up more options for kids to just go and interact with the area itself, so I think that's a really great addition. The biggest kind of question though that I have about this area, and arguably one of the more exciting parts, is to the right of this play zone, on the left hand side of the area, you're going to have a brand new show building put in place that is going to house a flat ride, which we don't actually know the specifications on just yet. You know, it could literally be anything. My wishful thinking is hoping for a more intense flat ride, but I'm not sure we're going to see that. I think it will be something more family catered. So yeah, that excites me quite a bit because, you know, A, it's an element of mystery. A lot of times with these plans, you know, even with stuff like, you know, Hyperia over at Thorpe Park when that was being built, we can kind of look at the plans and go, oh, well, that's going to go there. And we just kind of have an exact kind of image in our head of everything that's going to be coming to the area. This adds a little bit of mystery to the area itself, and what we're going going to kind of see on opening day. So I think that's a really good thing. And yeah, more flat rides in the UK is definitely not a bad thing at the moment. Hopefully this kind of, you know, gives an old rocket up the bum for Thorpe Park and some of the other kind of Merlin attractions to maybe implement some more flat rides across the parks, because I think it's something we're sorely missing just in general. So yeah, that's brilliant news. The kind of weird thing I think about this building is that on the website and in the plans, it's labelled as having an interactive zone within this building as well. Whether this is just the fact that you can interact with certain bits within the queue line for the flat ride, or potentially we could also be seeing something that, you know, is just maybe we could be seeing something that's more area wide. Maybe we could even see something similar to what has been happening over at Universal with the Super Mario World. You know, there's interactable elements. You know, you can kind of interact using wristbands or something. Maybe it will be kind of centralized into this building, so there might be like a walkthrough attraction there, or a little kind of social space that's kind of got a load of theming around that you can go and interact with. Either way, it sounds really cool, and again adds a little bit more variety to what we're going to see within here. Okay then, so that is kind of everything we know about, or at least the stuff that is in the plans. Obviously a lot of these plans again are subject to change. You know, they have the permission to build this stuff. Whether they end up building it is completely up to Chessington themselves. So yeah, again, take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, but from what we can see with the construction, a lot of this stuff is probably going to happen. So with that all out of the way, I think it's time to get into some of the more exciting bits and actually go and see what this is starting to look like over at Chessington. The construction is not hanging around. It has been kind of ramping up over the last few weeks. A lot of stuff is going on. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to Chessington and check some of this out. So without further ado, let's not waste any time. I'm going to get ready. Let's head to Chessington. Okay then, so I have made it to Chessington World of Adventures, and I'm currently standing within the Gorilla car park. Now, this particular car park is important for multiple reasons. Number one, this is where the site offices are for the project, so any kind of business stuff or, you know, important documents that need to be signed or whatever, you know, builders do when they're in their offices, that is located within this car park here. But more importantly and more excitingly, this is also where the delivery zone is for a lot of the parts that are arriving for the coaster and many of the other rides that are going to be featured within the land. So what I'm looking at now is basically a ton of supports that have been delivered to the park from Intamin. There's a mix between green and black here at the minute. A lot of people are theorising that the green ones are going to be for the small outdoor section, but I'm pretty sure they've been here for quite a while now, so when they're going to kind of move these into the park for installation, I have no idea, but it's cool that they're here anyway. This is of course the kind of area they've chosen to kind of have the site offices and the main kind of hub for the construction stuff, mainly because it is literally right next to where the area is being developed. Behind this tree line that's just in front of me here is essentially the area in which it's going to be going. So they've got a nice clear run straight into the construction site from here. But yeah, it's just really exciting seeing Coaster, you know, parts just sitting in the middle of a field. It's quite an exciting prospect because obviously there's a lot more stuff to come. There's still loads more that they need to build, but it's just exciting to see the stuff actually here. It makes it a little bit more real to a certain extent. One thing I have actually just noticed, literally just while I'm standing here, is there is a huge crane sitting right above the construction site right now. It looks like it's kind of moving towards me at the moment, or at least swinging this way. So yeah, there could be some really cool stuff happening inside the park at the moment. So I'm going to head straight from where I am now straight into the park to try and capture some of it. Most of it you can't really see. The construction walls are actually quite high, but I'm hoping to go into Dragon's Fury queue line and hopefully I can get a few good photos and videos from within there, because I think because the view's elevated you get a better look into the area as a whole. So yeah, that's the plan right now, so let's not waste any more time, let's head straight into the park. So I've run into a slight snag. There's me rushing to try and get into the park, and the main entrance just isn't open, as you can see here. it's literally a ghost town. Now I did come a bit later today. I left at about lunchtime because I just wanted to be here for the afternoon. But yeah, it's looking like I can't get in. I'm going to try the other car parks. There is the coach car park and the car park I believe they use for hotel guests. So they might be using that one today. But it's not looking good at the moment, I'm not going to lie. You know, there's me rushing to try and get into the park so I can spot whatever the bloody hell this crane thing's doing, and I can't even get in. But yeah, I'm going to try the other car park. Now that I think about it, a lot of the other car parks this side just aren't filled with any cars. Fingers crossed I can actually get in. But yeah, other than that, I've tried calling Chessington. I have no answer. So I'm just going to take matters into my own hands and try the other car park now, I think. So yeah, wish me luck. Okay, so I'm now currently in the coach car park, but this doesn't look like it's it either. Whether I have to use the hotel car park, which is just behind me, I don't know. But I genuinely don't know what to do right now. I've just seen a few people walk. I'm currently just kind of parked in the drop-off zone bit at the moment. I'm gonna have to try ringing the Chessington information line again and see if I can actually get into the park, because I've booked my annual pass ticket. Like, it's not paid me any. Oh, it's mucking with my brain already. I've not paid anything to go in, so it's not the end of the world if I do get turned away. But I really want to see the construction, and yeah, it's looking like a bit of a quieter day, and I kind of wanted to get on some roller coasters. But yeah, I'm gonna try ringing Chessington again, see if that works. If not, I think I'm a little bit buggered, I'm not gonna lie.
A few moments later.
Okay then, so panic over. I managed to get through to someone over the phone. The lovely lady picked up, helped me out. Apparently they haven't opened the other entrance today. It is only the hotel entrance that they're kind of allowing people through, which is completely fine. Just would have been nice to know that a couple of hours ago. But yeah, crisis averted. I'm now in the park. I'm currently over in Sea Lion Bay, and yeah, it's time to head straight to the construction site and hopefully onto Dragon's Fury to get a few really cool views of the construction site itself. So yeah, with that little adventure out the way, let's head down to where Wild Asia used to be. Okay then, so I've just had a wonderful ride on Dragon's Fury, but before that we hit another snag. It really seems like the world does not want me here today. The minute I got into the park, after all of that faffing around, it started bloody raining, of course it did. But on the topic of construction itself, I obviously saw a little bit more from the Dragon's Fury queue, but I had a little walk around the actual area itself when I first got here. And yeah, this thing is looking huge. I really did not fathom how big the show building was going to look, but it is tall and very wide as well. As you can see from some of the footage I'm putting up on the screen at the moment, you can almost see some sort of brake run, or maybe it is just a tyre drive belt for a specific scene within the ride, but that is actually extending out of the beamwork that they've already put there. So that to me doesn't look like the outdoor section from the plans, so I think it's coming even further forward than that, which I think is really, really cool. As for the big crane I saw earlier, it was actually important. It was actually being used for something. I got a bit of footage. They're basically carrying the beams from wherever they are on the ground, and they're lifting them over to a couple of workers that are actually working on the ride at the moment. So it seems like, to me, they're working more on the show building than the actual ride itself. But yeah, it is coming along really, really nicely and very, very quickly. Considering this was just a flat bit of land a few weeks ago, they have really made a lot of progress here, which is really exciting to see. On top of that, it doesn't like the kind of outside of the actual show building is starting to go vertical. There's like this kind of concrete cylinder block. You know, I'd imagine that kind of marks maybe the outside area of the building itself. I did try and get a bit of a better view when I was going up Dragon's Fury. I actually managed to see it backwards going up the lift hill, so I thought, oh, perfect, I'm going to get some really good views of the construction. There's a bloody tree in the way. I couldn't see nothing. Yeah, that was fun. Another bit of the construction that I really wasn't expecting to see is they look like they're building up one of the other kind of buildings, funnily enough, but no, but it looks like it could be the restaurant. It's just to the right of where the kind of main bulk of the coaster show buildings being put up at the moment. So I'd imagine that's what that bit is. I doubt it's the flat ride show building because I don't think it's further along enough. But yeah, that looks like it has the same sort of concrete cylinder or kind of blocky cylinder that has gone up this side of the coaster show building. So it looks like they're really progressing with the main building first, which is understandable because ultimately not only do you have the coaster housed in this building, but you also have, like I said, the dining experience, as well as of course the retail shop that I believe will be the exit of the ride. So it makes sense that they're fully focusing on this. Cobra's nowhere to be seen. As I said earlier on in the video, I'm pretty sure that's been carted off back to the kind of headquarters to be repainted, rethemed or whatever. So that isn't currently here, and the whole kind of far right end of the area is very barren still. There's not a lot of construction going on, so it does seem like they're mainly focusing on that show building, and then the other stuff will kind of come a bit later, which is to be expected. So yeah, so far really impressed. Like I said, the scale is really impressive. As soon as I kind of walked up to you know, the kind of construction walls and saw how big that show building already is, this is a serious investment for Merlin, and I genuinely cannot wait to see how this progresses more. You know, it is absolutely fantastic looking already, and you know, it's weird to think that standing here probably this time next year, that kind of steel skeleton is going to be fully themed, and yeah, hopefully looking as gorgeous as the concept art itself. Okay then, so moving around the actual kind of construction site itself now to a little bit round the corner from where I just was. I believe I'm currently standing where the entrance portal will eventually be into the land itself. I'm currently right outside the main entrance that I couldn't get in earlier, and yeah, it looks like on the concept art and the plans that pretty much straight away about here you are going to enter into the area through that big portal. The kind of look of the show building at the moment doesn't really match up with the concept art and just kind of the proportions and where you know, a lot of the stuff in the plans, you know, kind of lines up when you look at the park itself, and the stuff that's kind of surrounding it. But yeah, this is roughly where I reckon that is going to be. Like I said, it looks like it hooks straight away to the left, and then immediately as you go through, you kind of have that show building. So yeah, hopefully we get a little bit more construction over the next few weeks that kind of point a little bit more towards the entrance for the area. But yeah, I do believe it's going to be about here, right to the left of the entrance. So yeah, very exciting. So I'm going to go and have a little bit of a good time now. Hopefully I'm going to go and head on a few rides. It's really quiet at the moment today. You know, I think the weather scared a lot of people off, and it is a Tuesday, so it is midweek. It's really not that busy. So yeah, I'm going to go on a few rides, and then I'm going to head out and I'm going to give you guys my closing thoughts on the construction so far, and yeah, what the plan is going forward, because I do kind of want to make this a series. I do want to you know, do a few more videos covering the construction, because it is really close to my house. Chessington, out of all of the Merlin parks, is the closest to me, so it's very easy for me to kind of come and film these updates. So yeah, hopefully there's going to be more to come, but for now I'm going to go and head on a few rides, and I will see you guys back at the car. Okay then, so I'm now back in the car. Yeah, as much as, you know, we had complications earlier, I still had a brilliant day today. It was absolutely great seeing the construction for Minecraft World, you know, and it's kind of really setting in that this is hopefully opening next year now. Oh, just need to... There we go. Soon went all wonky. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I think Chessington right now is doing an absolutely smashing job, just with their investments in general. You know, it wasn't really that long ago that we got the World of Jumanji, you know, and I think that's such a fantastic area. Mandrill Mayhem's a great ride. I actually ended up riding it twice earlier, so yeah, it was only a 5-minute queue, so it was kind of a no-brainer. But yeah, ultimately I think, you know, the continued investments they're making, from Jumanji to obviously Paw Patrol, which opened this year, and then obviously the Minecraft area that's opening next year, you know, they're investing a lot in here, and a lot of it is really top quality. As much as I'm not, you know, the biggest Paw Patrol fan, you know, it looks like a fantastic family area. Certainly looks leagues ahead of Bluey over at Alton Towers. So yeah, I think they're just making some really good decisions, and I think Minecraft's going to bring such a you know, prestige to this park because it is such a kind of world-known, you know, IP. I think it's going to bring a lot of people to the park in general. So yeah, I didn't. What the hell? I'm getting really tired now. I'm really sweaty in here, by the way, as well. It's absolutely roasting. But anyway, yeah, I did kind of gloss over it. I actually bought myself a little treat in the shop. You know, I got a cheeky little resin for Mandrill Mayhem. I think that's a really, really cool one. It's been a while since I bought a resin at one of the parks, so I thought I might as well treat myself. So yeah, that will go on my shelf when I get home. But yeah, overall, I think I've had, like I said, a brilliant day. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video and the construction update. You know, this is a bit of a bumper one. Obviously, I did the little overview at the beginning of the video. Going forward, I do want to film more construction updates. So if you did enjoy today's video, definitely stick around, like and subscribe, turn notifications on, all that jazz. And yeah, hopefully this won't be the end of the construction updates. And at the rate this thing's going up, you know, these construction updates could come thick and fast. So yeah, definitely stick around for that if you're interested. So without further ado, I'm going to stop waffling now because I'm boiling hot and I need to get home to have some dinner. So yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time. I hope you have a brilliant rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.